I like to think of the outcome-based grazing program as sort of a choose-your-own-adventure in the rangeland permitting world. We're grazing towards an outcome as opposed to grazing towards a prescription. And so we collaboratively build our definition of what that outcome is.
We're a high desert operation. We operate on the east and west slope of the Continental Divide. I'm Niels Hansen, president of PH Livestock Incorporated. I took over after my parents many years ago. We operate in two dramatically different moisture regimes, from 6 to 8 inches annual rainfall to 15 to 18 inches. We've been in a long-term drying situation here. In our permits, we moved them back to what we had years ago. We had longer dates, numbers were adjusted. And we did that by giving BLM some alternate grazing plans to analyze so that they could defend their decision through the NEPA process.
In the old days when permits were black and white, they had specific dates. You couldn't change them. You couldn't do anything numbers or date-wise. And now if a drought comes up, a wildfire comes in, we have the ability to change dates, push them back, move the livestock numbers somewhere else at a higher rate where the forage is. And so it's a game changer for the rancher.
Because of the bad year last year ecologically and tough winter, we were looking at running a reduced number of livestock. We planned on more than we did last year. We took a real severe cut last year to protect the land. Now we have the flexibility to adjust as quickly as the weather changed.
I'm John Hansen, I'm the ranch manager. The use of technology has greatly increased our efficiency. With the drone, I fly out and check tank levels or check a gate. My goal is to take what I've learned from previous generations and expand on it with the use of technology and the flexibility in our new permits.
Our cooperative monitoring program goes back decades. I don't even think about it anymore. I talk to a lot of ranchers that say, I don't want to participate in that. I look at it just the opposite. Having that data, whatever it is a benefit. It's not a negative. I want to be the first to know that there's a problem out there so I can address it. And I look at our BLM office and our range professionals that I have the pleasure of working with. They are my first line of defense.
If we were clipping today, we'd be clipping.
Is this the fanciest one you've ever had?
That is fantastic. Thank you. I have been doing cooperative monitoring with PH Livestock for almost 30 years. We monitor together and we go and spend a lot of time driving through the pastures, like before grazing, during grazing, and after grazing. And so we have a feel together of what we see. And then as changes come up, we may go back out and take a look real quick to make sure. Or we may just say, yeah, no, we saw that last year. This is what we know and we can expect. But you can't do that unless you have the monitoring and you have an understanding between you and the grazing permittee of what is expected out there and what can happen and what the potential is.
Okay. Next reading, sagebrush again. ARTR is the code.
We use it as a planning tool. As we rotate, we plug in those numbers. We can say, well, you know, pasture number 1 over there, we rested that last year. We had a fair growing season this year. We think 80% is adequate. That's a key for the outcome base or any of the flex permits that they're talking about. You won't be eligible if you don't have monitoring in place. Grazing is the only tool in the toolbox for landscape scale conservation and range manipulation. We work to protect the land as good as possible because then it benefits all, wildlife, livestock alike. Knowing what our opportunities are on the land and having the ability to address those, take advantage of the outcome-based grazing, that's what gives us the opportunity to capitalize on markets and protect ourselves from drought. That's the key to make it all work. We'd certainly encourage people to sit down with their range people and at least put a preliminary plan, an idea of what kind of flexibility they're wanting, and get it on the table and have some conversation and weigh the pros and cons and what's it going to take to get there, to make that change in the permit.